We do a satisfaction survey every year where we ask people, every member of staff, to complete a survey on their AgencyUK experience, but also to provide suggestions to what they think should be improved. And we monitor those surveys annually to see where we've risen as a management team, where we've risen to the challenge, and where we may have fallen short. So what we need to address, and we do that in an open forum as well. So if people have got suggestions or they've got grumbles, we voice those and socialise those with the entire agency team, every member of staff, and we openly discuss how we're going to tackle them, if we're going to tackle them. Not everything is possible, right? But some things are possible. So we look at that as a management team and think, is this right for our people? Is this right for our clients? Is this right for our business? And if so, how would we address that?
I think it only comes, though, if you build a culture of trust and respect. And you have to have that, because otherwise people, it can be vulnerable to, express yourself, especially if you're going against the grain. And that can be, a vulnerability. And actually, if you don't have that culture of trust, then people don't want to share their different opinions. And so it's kind of, and that's not a one-time expressive kind of, we're a respectful team. That's you showing up day after day after day and creating that culture of openness, trust and respect.
So we have Office Vibe, which is one of these, automatic employee service survey tools where every week it pings you questions and you answer them. It has the ability to leave, a bit like a suggestions box, anonymous feedback from a suggestions box. You can add comments or you can just give a score. It has all of that flexibility. So we've got about 2 years, maybe more, of history of that. But then it's also important to dive deeper than that, because that is kind of an automated weekly thing. That's a temperature check, but you need to do a deep dive. So every 6 months we do an independently audited employee survey, 24 or 25 questions. They stay the same every 6 months.
We have regular check-in points throughout the week so that people can have one-to-ones as well. Then we have monthly one-to-ones. Then we have quarterly reviews. So we just, the macro answer to what you're saying is kind of, we build it as a rhythm, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly rhythms where staff feel heard, staff can input, project reviews at the end of each project, and just ask, both qual and quant answers. We kind of trying to get some good data back, but also get some in-depth understanding. So, when someone's, how was that project? How would you rate that project as an 8 out of 10? Okay, what was a 2 out of 10? What was that? What was going on? What was happening there? What was, so really trying to find, and 2 reasons, being very transparent and honest. We want projects to be more efficient. You want to drive efficiency. You want to drive gains and marginal gains, all of that great and good stuff.
So we have this people pulse, and that is the main thing that we utilise. And so it goes through all of these different questions. It's not always good news. Sometimes there'll be, you'll get, do you feel trusted? How clearly do we communicate the vision for the business? How clearly do we talk about our plans for sustainability or diversity, equity and inclusion? And so what I do, we get that on a quarterly basis. And so I will then present that back to the team. So this is how we're doing as an agency versus this other subset. And then if there is something like our overall strategy for the business in terms of where we're going, which I'm very clear on, but sometimes I might not take the time to actually explain that to some of our newer members of staff, some of the more junior members of staff who maybe I don't speak to on a regular basis. They might not hear this kind of thing. So I'm able then just to, bring to life what we're doing and how we're trying to move things forward.
Yeah, a few ways really. So we have a pulse survey that goes every month to the whole team that is administered through Slack. and we capture the data through that, and that our operations coordinator sort of manages and reviews that data and feeds that into our operational and comms conversations. But then we also make an effort to get together every quarter, and I think there's nothing that can replace getting together, particularly in a creative environment, creative industry. So at least once a quarter, the whole company gets together, and then more frequently than that, the departments get together as well, to develop those relationships, to work collaboratively on solution design, on process design, and bringing everything together. But one of the things we've done for the last couple of years is on those quarterly updates, we really make the most of having everyone together, ensuring there's a company update which is really engaging and everybody takes part in. It's not a lecture, it's really every department is represented there and has taken part in creating that content that is shared with everyone else. And then something we've started doing recently is doing a Q&A which is anonymous and live.